Welcome back. Now that we got the engine running on this 87 R10, let's move over to the fuel system. The left side tank doesn't work all the time, and the right side tank has never worked the entire time I've owned it. So this is going to involve dropping both tanks, changing out the sending units. While I'm at it, I'm going to also replace the fuel filter, and the switchover valve is leaking, so we'll replace that as well. Probably some miscellaneous lines, and you know how things snowball. So with that being said, let's get underneath the truck and start dropping these tanks.
Well, welcome to, our happy place on the driveway underneath an old rusty vehicle. The first thing that I'm going to do is cut off what is left of this muffler, because all it's doing is dropping rust on me, and well, there's enough stuff underneath here to drop rust on me. I think we could probably cut that down a little bit. One of the things that I found works really, really well for this, because anybody who's dropped a gas tank knows exactly how much of a pain in the butt it is, because it never happens when it's empty. This is a Harbor Freight motorcycle floor jack, and it works really, really well for holding the tank up. So, kind of a nice little trick. Anyways, I got a Sawzall, I got a rusted pipe. Let's cut it, get this, or what's left of it, out of here.
Alright, now that we have our sawed off exhaust, let's get started on what we actually came here to do.
Okay, these saddle tanks are actually not too terrible. Normally there's a couple straps that you have to take off, but what is nice is these have these big brackets. Each bracket has 4 bolts. You take those 4 bolts down, and well, you can take the strap and the tank all in one unit. Let me readjust this to get it kind of in the middle of the tank, and let's start unbolting these. Let's see how easy this is going to be. Oh yeah. Let's go get some penetrating oil and quite potentially an impact. Okay. Things have been sprayed down. I got my impact ready. Already covered in rust. I did put safety glasses on because, I'm already covered in rust. In any case, let's see what we can break. Oh, jeez. Let's go with a smaller extension. Keep forgetting how gigantic this impact is. That came out entirely way too easy. Yeah. Oh, good. That means means that this is going to be a miserable day. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How did I get stuff in my eyes with safety glasses on? Alright, so far we've successfully broken every single one of these bolts. So, perfect. Great. I might as well just Sawzall this last one. Alright, so the council has decided we're just going to cut that. So let's continue breaking stuff. What is this bolt made out of? Titanium or something? It's like the world's strongest bolt. Alright, let's see if let's see what kind of problems we made for ourselves here. Okay. So that is going to be a problem for future Mike. In any case, this tank is, we'll just say unbolted, which would leave this filler neck that we need to deal with, and then 3 bolts up there. Okay, the good news is, up here, everything's so covered in oil that we might actually have a chance of breaking these free. Nope, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. And what is actually good for an exhaust is also in our way. So let's see how this goes. Oh my God, that one loosened up. Alright, that should be that for this. Should be free to move now. Alright, that side dropped out. Why isn't this side dropped out? Why is it the side that all the bolts broke on come loose and not the other side? Alright. Let's investigate this further. Oh, you know what? I think it's just sitting on the jack. Alright, let's see if we can lower this down, disconnect any kind of, here, I'll get rid of that stick, disconnect hoses and electrical connections and grounds and what have you, and yeah, let's do it. Alright, what do we have here? Well, we have that's disconnected. So, there's that. Not sure what that line is. We have this connection here that seemingly goes somewhere. And we have this connection here that I'm just gonna, snip. And we have these two. You know what? Do I have that size wrench right now? No. I figured I have to take this off anyways. No need to cut the wire. I'm just gonna have to take it off and do it anyways. Oh, hey, come on. Alright. That's one tank down. Welcome to the passenger side. These 4 bolts here is for this strap, and then we'll have to remove this cover for the valve and everything to get to the bolts for that strap. This brake line is like really shiny, so I must have replaced it at some point in time. Let's do our best to avoid breaking it. Since the impact made a lot of work for ourselves later, let's try to avoid doing it. So let's see if we can break these free by hand. Oh, and they just like all kinds of loose. Alright, this side is out. Now, is this the same bolt size? No, not even close. Is it this size? Oh yeah. Oh. Well, let's ow. Oh boy. Alright. Nylox. Okay. I'm gonna assume that this is probably one of these. Are you alive? Oh, you are. Hey there, little buddy. Are you part of this? No, you're not, but you are. Are you with this size bolt? Maybe. Maybe. No, you are not. Alright, so let me go get a 1/2-inch socket so I can get that bolt out of here. And potentially that one. Is that a this size bolt? I don't know. Where's the bolt head? No. Alright, let me go get a 1/2-inch socket. Alright, where did like... Oh, there it is. Right in front of me. You know, funny how it's right where I just put it. Okay, let's take this out. Take that all the way out, please. Thank you. And then there was one back here. No. Do you guys have ratchets that halfway through taking a bolt out decide to change their lever position? Every now and then I have a ratchet that wants to do that. Drives me insane. Alright. So, here's the switchover valve that we will be replacing. You have your send and your return, and then you have the send and return for one tank and the send and return for the other tank. Big electrical connection. But taking that shield off has exposed the 4 bolts. Yes, 4 bolts that need to be taken out. So let me switch back to the other socket. Come on. Get out of there. Why you? You just live there now. Alright, let's see. Can we be lucky on these as well? Oh, like butter. It's amazing how for
as rusty as this truck is, a lot of these joints just come out so nicely. Okay, that is all the bolts. We should be able to break this free. Should be. At the same time, it's been put together for, what, 38 years? Maybe if I lift it up, I can crack it free and then lower it down. But we also have filler neck to loosen up. Oh. Filler neck needs to be loosened up before we do that. So let's get back over to there. Loosen that up. Okay, so both the filler neck and the vent tube are disconnected. This is now loose. I am going to lift this up and then lower it down. We'll disconnect the lines, disconnect the electrical connections, and take this from underneath it as well. Okay. Oh, there it goes. Just hold. Well, that's not fair. This here seems to have an added connection right here. Okay. Okay, going down. Ow. Alright, let's see what the holdup is on the other side. Alright, what do we got going on over here? Alright, we have hoses. We have hoses. Oh, we have hoses. Alright. I think the hoses, I am just going to, I think I'm just going to cut them because we're probably going to be replacing them on both sides anyways. But that seems to be what is holding us up at the moment. Oh. Hopefully these are all friendly spiders, because if not, there's a lot of them. Let's get this from underneath here and let's see what kind of fun we have. Alright, so the under the car part is done for now. We got our driver and our passenger side tanks. We're going to be replacing the sending units on it, cleaning them up. I'll probably run a tap through the mounting holes, make sure they're nice. We're going to have to fight we're going to have to fight with those. Hopefully a little bit of spray and a little bit of heat and some vice grips. We can get those out, replace the bolts. I'm going to replace the clamps on this side because they're still the original clamps. A lot of the hardware on this has been replaced when I replaced the sending unit last time, so This side's going to be just cleaning it up. This one is going to be cleaning it up. This one has a little bit of gas in it. This one kind of concerns me because I always remember it being full, and it has something in it, and it smells absolutely horrific, but there's not a whole lot in there. So hopefully there isn't a hole in the tank. But yeah, so let's start with shop vacuuming these parts off and just kind of go from there. All right, before we get too much further, I'm gonna hose these down, see if this will help. And you know, we know the answer is going to be no, but you know, it makes us feel good inside. Yeah. All right. We'll let that soak for a little bit. I'll get back with you in a moment. Well, we've let these marinate for a little bit, so now it's time to see if we can get these to come out as well as these to come out, and we'll put the new parts in. I'm going to spray this one more time just for good measure. No. These do not want to go. Alright. Well, where there's a will, there's fire. Well, just to be clear, this is stupid. This is a gas tank, these are gas fumes, and I just sprayed all of this with oil. Don't do this. Well, broke free, unfortunately. Jeez, oh geez. Well, let's see where that got us. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, let's see. There's enough for me to grab on now. Back this the rest of the way out. I can feel the heat 3-4 inches away. All right. Good. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to run a tap through all of these just to clean up the threads, make them nice and pretty and easy for the new bolts to go in. I'll have to hunt down and see if I can find new bolts there. Hopefully, you know, the gas tank will eventually stop smoldering. That would be nice. Let's see if I have a tap and die for this. Oh, look. They have decided to rearrange themselves. It's almost like somebody dropped all of this. Oh, well. All right, let's try this. When cleaning or cutting threads, it's always good to have some kind of oil on it. I usually use WD-40. If you have actual cutting oil, sweet, nice, cool, good for you. You're using the right stuff. WD-40 works just as fine. What we're doing here is just simply cleaning any rust, debris, gunk out of the threads. This will make installing it 100 times easier. We're not cutting new threads. We are just cleaning up what we have. Okay, now that we've cleaned up all the holes, got the broken bolts out of everything, we're ready to move kind of in the meat and potatoes of this project, replacing the sending units. Now, there is a left and right sending unit. There's special keys, so you can only put one in the other. There are some companies that make universal where they just don't have the keys and everything falls in. But let me bring you in closer so you can kind of see what goes on in removing the snap ring. All right, so here's your sending unit. You have your locking ring that has a couple tabs that you just hammer and it spins out the either unlock or lock. You have your send, your return, and your vent. And then you have a couple electrical connections. You have a ground as well as your fuel level gauge and fuel pump power. So let's take this out. To do that, you just take your snap ring and kind of hammer it around. And now this can all come out. So you have your fuel gauge, your fuel pump, a sock that's just kind of a pre-strainer. The pump is connected to your line. The return returns fuel to just in front of the pump. This allows it to circulate. And then you have your vent up here. This is only a couple years old, but like I said, the fuel pump just randomly quits on me, so it's getting replaced. Take a quick look inside the tank. We have a baffle. We have some baffles on the inside, which, you know, is good. I don't see any real rust. It looks real good in this one. But seeing how this is the tank that I've always used, doesn't surprise me. All right, let's grab the new sending unit. All right, here we are with the new sending unit. You got your seal and your snap ring. Sometimes these are already attached, sometimes they're not. So we'll just snap this into place. There you go. That's now attached. Just give it a one quick look over. The sock's attached. All of this is connected and good. That moves freely. All right. Okay. Now, I just did a common mistake. I put this in without the seal. But it's a mistake that is easily remedied. Alright. Put the seal around. Put that there. Line up our tabs. Get our locking ring ready. Alright. What are you getting caught up on? Alright, kind of get this started a little bit and then tap it into place. There you go. Now that is locked into place, we can get rid of the old stuff. This tank is just ready for new lines. I am going to put a filter on this. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this here or in the car. In either case, I'm going to put a length of tubing. It's going to make connecting it up easier in the car. Having the short tubing, it's just too much stuff in a small amount of space. So this is done. Let's move over to the other tank, which I'm expecting to give us a little bit more of a fight, because this one here I replaced once before. That one there, no. All right, just like the other side, we're going to take the snap ring, we're going to hit it out, and then old, new, tap the new one in. All right, let's get started. This one here, I might actually take the screwdriver and scrape up some of this gunk that's up here. Really want to avoid as much of this stuff getting into the tank as possible. I'm also really curious what the inside of this tank looks like as it's been sitting for many years unused. All right. Oh, we're already off to a great start. The tabs that you hit are just folding over, so I may have to find something a little bit more substantial. Now I've been spraying this down with freeze off to help, but this is not something I'm going to use the torch for obvious reasons. I think we got some movement. Yeah, she's starting to break free now. All right, we'll just stick with this one. All right, snap ring is out. Before I pull that up, I'm going to hit this again with the shop vac, trying to avoid as much contamination inside the tank as possible. All right. This is not good. All kinds of bad with this. All kinds of bad. Let's. All right. So, oh yeah. Yeah. All right. So, let's bring you in close so you can see all the problems. May need to replace this tank. All right, so here's the sending unit that we got out of here. Heavy corrosion. The sock is completely just crunchy. The little rubber line that goes between the pump and the output it's gone. The return line is just completely corroded. None of this is salvageable. This is the worst fuel tank I have ever seen. Like I said, I figured it would have fuel in it because when I bought it, it had fuel in it. But yeah, that's not usable. Welcome back. And you might be wondering what you mean by welcome back. For you, it's been a couple frames. For me, it's been 3 weeks. Got the new tank in, life caught up with me, but it's important that we get this truck back on the road because the weather is changing, it's getting colder, and the season of laying on your driveway, it's pretty much over. So let's get started by swapping out that tank with this tank. All right, now that we got the operating table cleaned off, we need to get this tank out of the saddles. To do that, it's loosening these 2 bolts, most likely cutting them off. We'll see how well they play. I've been spraying them with some penetrating oil. Who knows? We also need to get this stuff off because some of it's going to get reused. Some of it's going to be replaced. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this metal pipe here, they don't make it anymore. They have replaced it with this rubber hose. The problem is that pipe has a 90-degree bend in it, and anybody who's worked with rubber hose knows you bend it 90 degrees and it kinks. I don't know why they just don't make that. My suggestion is go to a muffler shop with the old piece if yours is leaking and say, hey, can you make me one of these? I've done it before, I know it works. All right, so let's get started with taking off some of this stuff, get the tank out of the straps. This is probably not going to work, but you know what, we'll give it a shot. And that doesn't work. Although it broke the banding. Let's see if we can get lucky and do that on the rest of these. Yeah, breaking stuff works well. Except for that one. That one made me a liar. And it got locked in. All right, well, let me clear that out. All right, with that cleared up, let's see if we can break this one off as well. And we did. All right, so the little pipe wants to fight. The bigger pipe broke in a convenient way. So, let's see how nicely, not nicely, this can come off. I'm mostly concerned with saving the metal pipe. I was able to get a replacement for this rubber hose, so if I have to cut it off, I have to cut it off. And mind you, the tank is junk, so I only need to worry about keeping this and keeping this. All right, now for this. This is the part that I don't have much hope for, but we'll try to be nice to it. And if I have to, I cut it. Let's give it a little bit of heat. Now, let's see what that gives us. I'll set this so it doesn't kill me later. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to cut it. It's going to be a little bit more work, but that's why I bought replacement straps. All right. Come on. How easily are you going to get out of here? Oh, yeah. There is a good amount of rust all over this. Now, the replacement straps are the kind that there's 3 rivets that you have to grind out, and then a lot of people just clean off the paint puddle weld. My welder is being borrowed right now, so I'm going to use button head Phillips bolts and some nylocks. Should work. Not ideal, but make do with what you have. There's a good chance I'm going to have to fight and be a lot kinder to these bolts to get this fiberglass plastic protective shell off. But let's first shop vac some of this rust and acorns and miscellaneous stuff out. Now, like with any old rusted bolt, these two here, I'm going to loosen it a little bit, tighten it a little bit, kind of reform the threads as I'm taking it apart, because I do not want to break these. So, take a little bit of care. Now that we've thoroughly made a mess of everything, set this over here. Now right here are the 3 rivets that we're going to have to cut. And then I'm going to have to get a drill bit and I'm going to have to drill through everything. And I bought some M6 nuts, lock nuts, and some M6 screws that I will use to insert the new straps and hold them in place. So let's get back out the angle grinder. Whew, all right. So those are now ground smooth. Now they go through this plate, but this plate overlaps the two. So what I'm going to end up doing is just drilling that out. And once I drill out the rest of the rivet, because I have to go through both plates anyways for the nut and the bolt, that should slide out. So let me find a drill bit and a drill. All right, that's freed. Now I just need to finish this hole all the way through. All right, and there we go. Now we can take our new straps and slide it in. And look at that, the holes even line up. All right, so let me get my 3 new screws. Now I'm going to put this with the button head towards the tank. The idea is if I was going to weld these in, the little puddle would probably be the size of that, so should not interfere with the tank. And there you have it. New strap, old saddle. You got your 3 bolts put in. We'll do the same thing to the other side and bring you back. All right, now that we got the tank together, gave us a little bit of a fight, time to put the sending unit in. First step, put the seal into place. All right, then fight the locking ring. I always try to center it once you get it locked into place, just to give even pressure on everything. But there you go, that is installed. Now we have this assembly that we need to attach. It's going to include some hose clamps and this little hose here. All right, filler neck's in place. Now for the vent tube. Now the original vent tube was a little piece of rubber and a metal pipe similar to this. For this instance, I'm just going to use this entire rubber hose. It's going to replace that entire thing. So get this slid on there, put one of these clamps on it. With that nice and tight, this tank is ready to go underneath. Some people like to paint these. This already came painted silver, so this is not just a still tank, it is painted. But everything is ready to go back under the truck. Well, I got an update. While I was getting ready to put the tanks back in the truck, my dog got out. And then while trying to get the dog back, I lost my footing and fell off a little cliff and broke my right arm. So, yeah, I think the truck is going to have to wait for a little bit. So, on that crazy story, take care, stay safe, and we'll catch back later.